APLD has seen an incredible upside over the course of the past few days, establishing another higher low, which is a very good presence. The elephant in the room, of course, is where we can hold that $20 level. I mean, you pull back all the way from 40 after a massive movement from pretty much $10 here, taking zero pauses, then pulling back $20, getting that pronunciated red to green reversal, squeezing up higher, then reversing with an inverted hammer candle, pulling back before a very large hammer candle with a very small body here. It's a very interesting candle, but so that's the side. Really interesting image here. We've seen very, very flip-flop activity here, back forth, very volatile here if you are a PLD applied digital stock price holder. But as of right now, it's in a good position. And the main thing you just want to note is, does stock price hold at this $27 and that 75-cent level? We've seen a couple pauses here, and when the dust settled on a couple of volatile weeks, you've seen very tight compression here coming back, even from that rise up, right, pushing to $40. You've seen that pause around that 27, 26, 68. This rough level between 27, 28, right, there's some pretty rough resistance slash support. So stock price is attempting to get a little bit of a base here. You can clearly see on the weekly to continue that push up higher and build this weekly bar up. We'll continue to track that as the week plays out. But right now, we're young within the movements. We're not going to overanalyze that. But as of right now, it does appear good. You set that last big low higher than the last. That's all you want here from the more long-term gauge to march up higher. Yes, we are setting lower highs, but as of now, just zoom out. I mean, the bulls are taking advantage. There's a lot of different ways from a long term this could play out. Even if you see a little bit of negativity, it's likely just going to build out for some tight pennant, some really clean breakout. As of right now, stock price is giving a Palantir look. There's a certain look with a lot of stocks when they just pump, and they don't look like they're going to give. Look back at Palantir. Very similar. We've seen that boom, that big drop in Palantir around $80. A lot of people counted that, I'm sure, try to take a stab at short. You get back up for that double top we followed on the channel. We mentioned we're probably to go to $150, right? At these lower $118 levels. We got to 200. This can totally happen with these kind of stocks. And as of right now, APLD has seen some weakness, but it's still holding that nice big base here where all this move has been defended. So we'll continue to, have that long-term bias here, looking at all the other time frames, clear as day. So despite seeing lower highs here, yes, so below bearish, it's not that simple here, guys. So just want to get that across the board. APLD is still very clean from the long-term analysis. We'll continue to track and monitor, stock price. And as long as stock price is above $20 here, this is still a healthy pullback. So still from a long-term perspective, very strong here from APLD. I would expect stock price to eventually get back to $40 and break that and continue stock price, right, setting a new all-time high. On the daily analysis, since rolling over from $40, did start to see stock price compressing within a hold. You're typically going to see this within a high flyer, right? Trying to get that pennant breakout here, push back towards $50, get that upside. That did get shut out early. All this upside in store did lead a very big pullback, but then the smart money did step up down here, setting a nice base, pushing up right back down. And within our last update, it mentioned that this is likely the next low right here to form a higher low. There's also some very strong, just Broadway support here around the $26 to $28 level. You did start to see these candles accumulate in this zone, getting some momentum before getting that gap up. When stock price fell from $40, it did have a trampoline down at these levels before double bottoming, then collapsing through it, showing respect to that level. The bears took advantage of that level being broken, seeing a clean sweep after that. Then you see the momentum pick back up over that. There definitely is other big psychological levels here. $25, $30, etc. But we're in a pretty good area here. So if stock price can more or less hold the zone for a few days, you're likely to get a little bit of a delayed hold here to get that breakout. And I do think that's the most likely scenario. Within the next 1-2 days, I would expect a little bit of either A, downside, or B, consolidation, or perhaps C, being very slight upside. I mean, just seeing this kind of broad bar, this typically isn't going to stop the short-term momentum, as we have seen a very drastic move higher, right? 38% within just 4 or 5 days. And we have broken this very nice cup and handle structure. We set the next big higher low. Long-term bias, once again mentioned on the weekly, is bullish. So all these things are going to scare away very smart short selling money, typically than not. But the smart buying money is going to wait a little bit so they get a little bit more bang for their buck. See an hourly flag play out, and then it pops. So as of right now, that is going to be the prediction with APLD. with stock price. You're going to see a couple of days here holding leading into Christmas. Not much going to happen. Perhaps a pullback, but it does appear should see stabilization short term, more medium term upside back towards 32.84, $35 and beyond. Once again, very strong analysis here. Was the question that we're going to continue to mention here within the last analysis? You needed to see the next big higher low here, because it's not looking good if you're collapsing from this big downside movement. You're not starting to get these big retracements, but now you have this nice big higher low, giving that double bottom structure. But the next one is higher. That's a nice big trend reversion. There's a lot of things working here. So APLD definitely does appear good here on the daily for upside, and just expect a couple calm days to come. On the hourly, you get a really good perspective in this very tight double bottom we covered within our last video. Just an absolute gorgeous structure. Where's the neckline? Well, it's lined up at the very respected $25 psychological support level. Just really couldn't ask for too much more than a breakout. And you've pushed all the way to $30, very close to that next big psychological region, just on a short period of time. So this chart screams, I am going to form a bull flag. It does, guys. If you guys have followed these stocks for years, you're nodding your head. Yep, Dylan, yep. It's true. When you see these big movements and momentum, typically you're going to see volatility cool off, and this does leave leeway, even if APLD is a sweep to as low as $26. You could see this play out a couple different ways. Perhaps it is a descending channel like this, or what have you. There's a lot of different ways it could form, but as of right now, I would predict that you see more of an upright type pennant here or flag, just to kind of trade, chop around, and then come 4 days later is a lot more risk to reward. So I really wouldn't advise APLD to trade within a day trade opportunity. You guys do you. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but it does make sense after this very big movement from that incredible breakup to pause movement. Right now is a very volatile time for the overall market. We've seen movements we haven't seen in the years past. What is the overall market doing? QQQ is battling, trying to form the next big higher high, right? Getting over this big high, and SPY is doing the same. So really, a lot of these big stocks are in just such a core spot where we'll see a lot of the synchronization play out together. You see SPY last overall time high, leading QQQ to get the job done. That likely will rub off APLD in a very positive way. As of right now, you have to lean to that happening. A lot of positivity within the market, just the way it's structured and flowing. So this does leave a positive effect for APLD. So all in all, doesn't change the analysis too much, but the overall market flow does look pretty good. If you guys found any value within the video today, consider dropping a sub and a like. Very interesting analysis here for APLD. Have a go, guys. Take care, trade smart, and